Tube amps are held on a high pedestal, but everyone knows that they're extremely expensive. Well, I'm happy to report that's not the case. Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo J. Karjalainen. It's good to have you along. Yes, tube amps, supposedly extremely expensive, like the Marshalls behind me. If you want a tube amp or a valve amp like they say in Britain, you will have to be ready to part with a lot of money. Well, at least that used to be the case. There are some very good alternatives out there, and I'm going to be comparing three kind of, but two today, to see if they're actually good and if they're actually the same amp, which I think they are. And if they're the same amp, that means that all three amps are the same amp. What am I talking about? Well, what I am talking about is that I'll be comparing the Harley Benton Tube 15 to the Subzero Saturn 15. Harley Benton is Thoman's in-house brand. Subzero is Gear for Music's in-house brand. And there's a third amp, the Stage Right by Monoprice over in the States, which is actually the same amp as the Harley Benton. So if the Harley Benton is the same as the Subzero, then all three amps are the same. They're all really affordable. I mean, around 250 euros or dollars for a valve amp. That's ridiculously cheap. Then there's also the question of, are they reliable? I'll address that as well. Anyway, here are some sounds. Right, so here we go. Okay, so I think they sound like the same amp. I use the same cab, the cab that I always use in my videos, the Marshall AHW, 1960 AHW. I thought they sounded really good and they sounded like the same amp. They don't sound like a Marshall, they're something a bit different, but they're really nice. Okay, so someone commented on the video that I did on the Subzero saying that if it can't be repaired when it breaks, because everything breaks at some point, it's just another instance of humanity creating more rubbish because it can't be repaired. Now, from what I've understood about the Harley Benton, on the inside, it is fairly straightforward and repairable. I could look inside a valve amp or a tube amp or any amp and be totally lost. I don't know what I'm looking at. So, but there is an issue here, and it's this amp. This is the Fender Bassbreaker 007. It's a very good sounding amp that I've never reviewed on the channel. Now, people often say that Harley Benton and cheap brands like that, they're all rubbish, they're all made in China, they're rubbish. Well, I'm sorry to say that even though this sounds good, I bought this back in the COVID days and tried it, and it worked for about 5 minutes and then it kind of died. That's not the problem. I bought this secondhand. The problem is that I've taken it to two different people who repair amps for a living. They've both had a look inside and said they don't know what they're looking at. The other guy said that he doesn't know where to measure anything in this amp. So this is a case of an amp that's maybe not unrepairable, but at least two professional amp repair guys said they don't know how to repair it, and it's just a valve amp. I haven't heard anything similar about Harley Benton's Tube 15 or the Saturn by, what's it called? Gear for Music. Subzero, that's it. So if you're looking for a cheap valve amp, I really warmly recommend that you take a look at the Subzero or at the Harley Benton Tube 15 or at the Stage Right by Monoprice. There is also the Mighty 15 by Harley Benton, which I didn't like as much as the Tube 15. There's the Bugera Infinium stuff, which is quite good. But my personal favorites have been the Harley Benton and the Subzero, Tube 15 and Saturn. So I'm recommending those because I think that they're really good. And I've bought them, and I bought this. And this was a shame because it did sound very nice. If you want the Harley Benton, there's a link in the description to gear that I recommend. That's an affiliate link. If you buy something that way, you will be supporting the channel at no extra cost to you. I don't have a link for the Subzero, but then again, I think it's the same amp. If you want to watch my reviews of these two amps, they're here. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a nice day. Take care. See you. Goodbye.